Imagine a forgotten high school gym, a space once vibrant with youthful energy, now silent, decaying, its shimmering disco ball a solitary relic of bygone celebrations. What if, amidst that desolation, a discovery was made that didn't just hint at the past, but actively dragged it, screaming, back into the present? The discovery of two identical prom dresses, eerily preserved after decades, found floating in the murky waters of a flooded high school gym, isn't just a scene from a gripping mystery. It's a vivid, almost haunting illustration of how time, environment, and the very fabric of our world conspire to either erase or meticulously preserve the echoes of the past. For over 35 years, the silent walls of Oakhaven High's gymnasium held secrets, not just of forgotten dances, but of an unsolved disappearance, the vanishing of teenage twins from their 1989 spring fling. Their corsages wilted on the floor, their parents' pleas unheard as a small American town grappled with a mystery that eventually faded into local legend. But what happens when the past refuses to stay buried? What scientific principles allow delicate fabrics to survive for so long, and what human elements enable a community to carry such a heavy, unresolved burden for decades? This remarkable scenario, while specific in its tragic details, opens a window into universal questions that touch upon the very nature of time, memory, and material persistence. How is it that certain objects, seemingly fragile, can defy the relentless march of decay for decades, while others vanish without a trace? What chemical and physical conditions must align for a delicate prom dress, an emblem of fleeting youth and celebration, to become a morbidly preserved artifact? Such discoveries force us to confront the intricate dance between environmental factors and the inherent properties of materials, revealing surprising truths about the resilience of the past, even in the face of apparent oblivion. It challenges our assumptions about what gets lost to time and what stubbornly remains, demanding our attention and prompting a closer look at the silent forces shaping our world. Beyond the purely scientific, this incident also illuminates the profound psychological landscape of collective memory and the enduring power of unresolved narratives. For a community, an unsolved disappearance is not merely a police file. It's a wound that never fully heals, a question mark etched onto the town's identity. The sudden reappearance of these artifacts doesn't just reopen a case. It rips open old scars, forcing a generation to re-examine what they thought they knew, what they chose to forget, and the unspoken truths that lingered beneath the surface. It's a stark reminder that history isn't static. It's a living, breathing entity, capable of reasserting itself with startling force, compelling us to reconsider the stories we tell ourselves and the silence we often mistake for resolution. As we embark on this journey, we won't just be unraveling the threads of a fictional mystery. Instead, we'll explore the real-world science behind extraordinary preservation, the evolving art of cold case investigation that can bridge decades of silence, and the complex human dynamics that shape how communities confront their darkest memories. We'll delve into the fascinating interplay of forensic science, historical context, and social psychology, all through the lens of a discovery that shatters decades of quiet and demands answers. This isn't merely about a forgotten dance or vanished teenagers. It's about the universal human quest for truth, the resilience of memory, and the surprising ways the past continues to shape our present. The waterlogged dresses, whispering their silent, terrifying truth, become our guide, inviting us to peer into the deeper mechanisms that govern both decay and discovery, challenging us to look beyond the surface of everyday objects and the quiet corners of our collective history. Beyond the immediate shockwaves generated by such an unexpected finding, the very existence of these preserved garments compels us to rewind the clock, not just to the night of the dance, but to the broader investigative landscape of the late 1980s. Consider for a moment the world in which Emily and Sarah Vance vanished. This was an era preceding the widespread adoption of DNA profiling, a time when forensic science, while advancing, still relied heavily on more traditional methodologies. Police investigations into missing persons cases frequently hinged on immediate witness accounts, physical evidence that was visible and readily identifiable, and the rapidly fading trail of a person's last known movements. The sheer volume of information that could be extracted from trace evidence, now commonplace in modern investigations, was then largely unimaginable or technically unfeasible for routine application. Consequently, the trajectory of a missing persons case in that bygone era often followed a predictable yet tragically frustrating path. An initial flurry of activity, searches, interviews, public appeals, would invariably dwindle as leads dried up, resources became stretched thin, and the relentless passage of time blurred memories and obscured crucial details. Without a body, without a definitive crime scene, and without the sophisticated analytical tools we now possess, such cases frequently transitioned from active investigations into agonizingly unresolved mysteries. They would recede from the daily headlines, becoming a whispered tragedy, a local legend passed down with a mixture of fear and sorrow etched into the collective consciousness of a community. Furthermore, the very concept of a cold case as a distinct category, with dedicated units and specialized methodologies for review, was still in its nascent stages. While law enforcement agencies always held on to unsolved files, the proactive, technology-driven re-examination of decades-old disappearances or homicides wasn't yet the formalized practice it is today. Cases often went dormant, awaiting a new piece of evidence, a deathbed confession, or a breakthrough in general forensic capabilities. The Oak Haven disappearance, therefore, wasn't unique in its fading into obscurity. It was symptomatic of an investigative era where the absence of immediate resolution often meant a prolonged, painful silence for those left behind. In such circumstances, the vacuum left by official silence was often filled by local rumor, conjecture, and the persistent, if informal, oral history of a small town. The gym itself, a once vibrant hub, would have become a silent monument to that night, its echoing corridors carrying the weight of unspoken questions and lingering suspicions. This unofficial narrative, woven from fragments of memory and local lore, often served as the primary means by which the memory of the vanished twins was kept alive, albeit in a distorted, mythologized form. It created a communal memory that was resilient yet deeply flawed, perpetually searching for resolution without the means to achieve it. Crucially, the sheer unexpectedness of the dress's reappearance fundamentally alters this historical context. For decades, the case was bound by the limitations of its time. Now these submerged artifacts bridge the technological chasm between 1989 and the present. They represent not just a physical link to the past, but a potential conduit for applying modern forensic techniques to evidence that was unavailable, overlooked, or simply beyond the analytical capabilities of 3 decades ago. This dramatic shift means that the very origins of the case, once shrouded in the investigative limitations of its era, can now be re-evaluated through an entirely new lens, offering a glimmer of hope that the long-dormant truth might finally surface. The extraordinary discovery of the dresses, suspended in their watery tomb, compels us to dissect the very mechanics of their survival, a testament to the unforeseen power of specific environmental conditions. Imagine the gymnasium, slowly filling with water, transforming from a vibrant space into a sealed, anoxic chamber. This lack of oxygen is paramount. It dramatically inhibits the aerobic bacteria and fungi that are the primary agents of decomposition for organic matter. Consequently, the relentless biological clock that typically dismantles fabric, wood, and even flesh is effectively slowed to a crawl, creating a unique micro-environment akin to a bog or a deep-sea wreck where artifacts can defy centuries. Delving deeper into the material science, consider the likely composition of those 1989 prom dresses. While natural fibers like cotton or silk degrade relatively quickly in moist environments, many garments from that era incorporated synthetic or semi-synthetic materials such as polyester, acetate, or rayon blends. Polyester, renowned for its resilience, is inherently hydrophobic and highly resistant to microbial attack, making it an exceptionally durable fiber. Acetate, while more susceptible to hydrolysis over prolonged immersion, still possesses a greater resistance to biological decay than pure cellulose. These synthetic components would have provided a structural integrity, a scaffold that allowed the delicate garments to withstand decades of submersion, even as any natural fiber elements within the blend might have slowly deteriorated. It's a fascinating interplay between human innovation in textile manufacturing and the fortuitous conditions of a flooded space. Furthermore, the stable, cool temperatures typical of a forgotten, submerged building, coupled with the absence of light, would have further contributed to this remarkable preservation. Temperature fluctuations accelerate chemical reactions and physical stress on materials, while light, particularly ultraviolet radiation, can degrade dyes and weaken fibers over time. In the dark, cool, and oxygen-deprived water, the dresses existed in a state of suspended animation, their vibrant colors muted but remarkably intact, their delicate forms largely undisturbed by the forces that would have otherwise reduced them to mere organic sludge. This wasn't merely a lucky accident, it was a precise alignment of physical and chemical factors. Now, consider the forensic potential unleashed by this astonishing find. For modern investigators, these dresses are not just garments. They are potential time capsules brimming with micro-evidence previously unattainable. Advanced trace evidence analysis, utilizing techniques like Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, FTIR, or scanning electron microscopy, SEM, can now identify microscopic fibers, pollen grains, or even minute soil particles adhering to the fabric, which could link the victims or the dresses to specific locations or individuals. Moreover, the evolution of DNA extraction and amplification techniques means that even minute skin cells, hair follicles, or bodily fluids, invisible to the naked eye and undetectable by 1980s methods, could yield crucial genetic profiles. We're talking about touch DNA, cellular material that might cling to a seam or a zipper, providing a direct biological link to anyone who last handled the garments. Beyond the physical evidence, the deliberate placement of these dresses, floating purposefully rather than buried or accidentally lost, adds another layer of profound significance. This wasn't a natural occurrence. It suggests a conscious act, perhaps a macabre memorial, a silent accusation, or a chilling message intended to be discovered. The water in this context wasn't just a preservative. It was a chosen medium, transforming the gym floor into a symbolic stage for a long-dormant truth. It implies an intelligence behind the act, a decision to ensure these specific items would endure, waiting for a moment when their silent testimony could finally be heard. This intentionality shifts the focus from mere accident to a deliberate, if enigmatic, communication from the past, challenging investigators to decode not just what happened, but why these specific artifacts were left to speak across the decades. The sudden re-emergence of the prom dresses, decades after the fact, transcends the immediate investigative implications and casts a profound shadow across the social and psychological landscape of Oakhaven. Consider for a moment the insidious, long-term impact that an unresolved tragedy can exert on a tight-knit community. For 35 years, the disappearance of Emily and Sarah Vance was a gaping wound, a narrative left incomplete. This absence of closure doesn't simply fade. Rather, it metastasizes, subtly reshaping the town's collective identity. Neighbors might have grown up with a whispered understanding that Oakhaven harbored a dark secret, fostering a latent distrust or an unspoken caution that permeated social interactions. The high school gym, once a symbol of youthful exuberance, likely became imbued with a melancholic aura, an architectural ghost of joy tainted by an enduring sorrow. Furthermore, this discovery fundamentally redefines the very concept of closure for the families involved and the wider community. For decades, the Vance family, and by extension, the town, was forced to contend with an ambiguous loss, a state of perpetual limbo that psychologists term ambiguous grief. There was no grave to visit, no definitive explanation to process, only an agonizing void. The dresses, therefore, are not merely physical evidence. They are a tangible, albeit haunting bridge to a past that had been intellectually sidelined, but emotionally never truly forgotten. This sudden manifestation of concrete evidence, even if it brings painful memories to the surface, offers the first genuine opportunity in generations to transition from speculation to potential understanding, shifting the paradigm of their grief from an unending question mark to a potential, however belated, period. Indeed, the re-examination sparked by these artifacts forces a community to confront its own historical narratives, challenging the comfortable myths and convenient silences that often settle around unsolved mysteries. Perhaps Oakhaven had developed an unofficial story, a collective rationalization that allowed its residents to cope with the unthinkable. The dresses disrupt this carefully constructed piece, compelling a painful reckoning with forgotten tensions, overlooked details, or even complicit omissions from the past. It's akin to a forgotten time capsule, suddenly unearthing inconvenient truths, forcing a generation to question what they thought they knew about their neighbors, their leaders, and the very fabric of their communal memory. This societal tremor can expose fault lines that had long been buried under layers of routine and resignation. Another crucial layer is the surprising way such a dormant piece of evidence can galvanize public interest, and in turn exert pressure on law enforcement. What was once a cold case, relegated to the archives, suddenly becomes a living, breathing mystery again, fueled by widespread media attention and renewed local speculation. This can be a double-edged sword. While it brings fresh eyes and potential new leads, it also re-traumatizes those directly affected and can stir up old rumors. Yet, it undeniably shifts the dynamic, transforming a quiet, forgotten tragedy into a pressing contemporary issue, demanding resources and renewed dedication from investigators who might now find themselves under an intense spotlight. This public re-engagement becomes a powerful, if sometimes chaotic, force in the pursuit of long-delayed justice. Ultimately, the shimmering disco ball and the floating dresses become potent symbols, not just of a specific tragedy, but of the broader human experience of memory, loss, and the relentless quest for truth. They underscore how seemingly insignificant objects can carry immense emotional and historical weight, becoming conduits through which the past speaks to the present. The gym, once a stage for teenage dreams, now serves as a stark reminder that some stories refuse to be silenced, that the echoes of unresolved pain can persist for decades, waiting for the precise moment and the right conditions to demand attention anew. This incident, therefore, becomes a powerful parable about the enduring power of history and the collective responsibility to remember, to question, and to seek understanding, even when the answers lie submerged beneath the surface of time. While the re-emergence of the dresses injects a potent jolt of hope into the long-dormant case, it simultaneously ushers in a formidable array of challenges that modern investigators must navigate, distinct from the initial limitations of the 1980s. Consider, for instance, the treacherous landscape of human memory after 35 years. Witnesses, once vibrant with fresh recollections, now grapple with decades of fading details, the insidious influence of subsequent conversations, and the brain's remarkable capacity for confabulation, unconsciously filling gaps with plausible yet often inaccurate information. This makes re-interviewing a delicate art, where distinguishing genuine recall from constructed narratives becomes paramount, often requiring specialized cognitive interviewing techniques to gently peel back layers of time without implanting false memories. Moreover, the sheer volume of information, paradoxically, can become an investigative burden. Agencies now face the daunting task of integrating disparate datasets, the original, often paper-based files from 1989, potentially incomplete or poorly indexed, with the deluge of new forensic reports generated by cutting-edge analyses of the dresses. Sifting through thousands of pages of old interviews, cross-referencing them with newly acquired digital evidence, and identifying relevant connections requires sophisticated data analytics and substantial human resources, a stark contrast to the comparatively linear investigations of the past. A further complication arises from the inevitable erosion of institutional memory. The original detectives who poured their lives into the Vance case are likely long retired, or perhaps no longer with us. This means new teams must pick up a cold trail without the benefit of their predecessors' nuanced understanding of local dynamics, unspoken suspicions, or the subtle body language of original suspects. Furthermore, the chain of custody for any ancillary evidence from 1989 might be compromised or documentation incomplete, posing significant legal hurdles for admissibility in a contemporary courtroom. Defense attorneys are adept at exploiting such procedural gaps, regardless of the scientific merit of new findings. Now, consider the societal pressure that accompanies such a dramatic cold case revival. While renewed public interest can generate new leads, it also fuels a fervent, often speculative, media environment. This can inadvertently contaminate potential witness pools, as individuals, eager to help or seeking attention, might remember details influenced by news reports or online discussions rather than genuine recollection. It creates a delicate balancing act for investigators who must leverage public engagement without allowing it to compromise the integrity of the ongoing inquiry, distinguishing between genuine breakthroughs and well-meaning but misleading tips. Furthermore, a common misconception often surfaces in the public imagination: the idea that the discovery of any old evidence, especially with modern science, guarantees a rapid resolution. This overlooks the harsh realities of degradation and contamination. Even remarkably preserved items, like the dresses, can present challenges. DNA, while robust, can be present in minute quantities, mixed from multiple sources, or too degraded for a full profile. Trace fibers, while identifiable, might be ubiquitous and difficult to link definitively to a single source. The myth of the perfect evidence, which instantly solves everything, often clashes with the painstaking, often ambiguous process of forensic interpretation, requiring careful contextualization and rigorous validation. Finally, the ethical implications of rekindling such an old mystery are not inconsequential. While the pursuit of justice is paramount, investigators must weigh the potential for prolonged emotional distress on the surviving families, who, after decades, may have found a fragile peace in resignation. The decision to allocate substantial resources to a decades-old case also sparks a broader societal debate about resource distribution within law enforcement, prompting questions about striking a balance between historical justice and addressing current, ongoing criminal activity. These are not simple questions, and they underscore the complex human and systemic dimensions of reviving a past that refuses to stay buried. Yet, with the rekindling of such a long-dormant mystery, a new set of formidable challenges and persistent myths inevitably surfaces, confronting modern investigators and the public alike. One pervasive misconception is the notion of forensic omnipotence, the idea that advanced scientific techniques, like a magic wand, can effortlessly conjure definitive answers from evidence that has languished for decades in a compromised environment. While DNA analysis and trace evidence examination have indeed undergone revolutionary advancements, they are not immune to the ravages of time and exposure. Consider, for instance, the complexity of interpreting mixed DNA profiles, where cellular material from multiple individuals might have commingled on the dresses over 35 years, or the inherent degradation of fragile RNA markers that could pinpoint the tissue source of biological material. The water, while preserving the fabric, also acts as a solvent, potentially leaching away crucial chemical signatures, leaving behind an intricate puzzle of fragmented data that requires nuanced interpretation rather than a simple, unambiguous readout. Furthermore, a significant hurdle lies in the enduring power of confirmation bias, a silent antagonist that can subtly steer even the most objective inquiry. Initial theories, whispered suspicions, or even deeply ingrained prejudices that circulated within Oakhaven in 1989 might have inadvertently shaped the original investigation, creating a subconscious tunnel vision that is remarkably difficult to dismantle decades later. When new evidence emerges, there's a human tendency to filter it through these long-held assumptions, unconsciously seeking information that validates existing beliefs while dismissing or downplaying contradictory data. This psychological predisposition means that investigators must actively work to deconstruct and challenge every prior assumption, approaching the case with a truly blank slate. An arduous task when faced with a voluminous archive of historical documents steeped in original perspectives. The act of re-interviewing individuals after so much time has passed presents another profound ethical and practical minefield. Beyond the natural deterioration of memory, lives have irrevocably changed. Witnesses or persons of interest from 1989 are now older, perhaps with families, established careers, or entirely new identities. Reopening this painful chapter can inflict immense emotional distress, potentially unearthing old traumas or exposing long-buried secrets that have no direct bearing on the case, but could shatter personal lives. Moreover, the legal landscape surrounding such interviews is far more stringent today, demanding scrupulous adherence to individual rights and protection against self-incrimination, creating delicate interactions where the pursuit of truth must be meticulously balanced against the potential for re-traumatization and legal overreach. In the contemporary landscape, the rise of digital sleuthing and online communities introduces a new, often controversial dimension to cold case investigations. While crowdsourcing can occasionally unearth overlooked details or prompt new recollections, it also fosters a fertile ground for misinformation, unsubstantiated theories, and unchecked speculation. The fervor of armchair detectives, often fueled by incomplete information and a desire for immediate answers, can lead to online harassment of innocent individuals, the tainting of potential witness testimonies through shared narratives, and the creation of a public narrative that can severely prejudice a future jury pool. This digital echo chamber poses a significant challenge for official investigations, requiring careful management of public information to harness genuine leads while mitigating the corrosive effects of unverified gossip and premature conclusions. Adding to these complexities is the lingering shadow of the silent town phenomenon, the deeply unsettling notion that someone within Oakhaven must have harbored knowledge, however peripheral, about the twins' disappearance, yet chose silence for decades. This isn't merely about forgotten memories. It's about the moral weight of conscious inaction or complicity, and the controversy surrounding what drives individuals to withhold information that could bring justice. Whether motivated by fear, loyalty, or a desire to protect someone, this prolonged silence introduces a profound ethical dilemma for the community and investigators alike. Unraveling these layers of unspoken truths, identifying the reasons for such enduring silence, and compelling individuals to finally speak after so long, represents a unique and emotionally charged aspect of the reopened inquiry, touching upon the very fabric of communal trust. Ultimately, the discovery of those waterlogged dresses in the Oakhaven High Gym transcends a mere cold case breakthrough. It becomes a profound testament to the enduring human need for resolution, a silent yet potent declaration that some stories simply refuse to remain untold. These garments, once symbols of youthful exuberance and fleeting joy, have transformed into unexpected historians, bearing witness to a past that stubbornly demands acknowledgement. They remind us that even when time attempts to bury truth under layers of dust and forgetfulness, certain echoes resonate with such persistence that they eventually break through, compelling us to listen. The dresses are not just evidence, they are a call to action, a vivid illustration of how the lost can still speak given the right conditions and the patient ear of a new generation. The inherent human drive for narrative completion is a powerful force, one that underpins our understanding of justice and our capacity for healing. An unresolved mystery leaves an indelible void, not only for the immediate families of the missing, but for the collective memory of an entire community. This absence of closure creates a lingering psychological burden, a subtle unease that permeates the very fabric of local identity. The unexpected re-emergence of these artifacts offers the tantalizing prospect of filling that void, providing a pathway toward understanding that goes beyond the superficial facts. It's about more than simply identifying what happened. It's about comprehending the profound impact of those events, allowing a community to finally integrate a painful chapter into a more complete, albeit tragic, historical narrative. This relentless pursuit of answers, even across decades, underscores the fundamental value of curiosity, a trait woven deeply into the tapestry of human experience. It is this innate drive to question, to connect seemingly disparate pieces of information, and to confront uncomfortable truths that pushes boundaries and unearths buried realities. The dresses serve as a potent reminder that curiosity, when coupled with unwavering perseverance, possesses the remarkable power to pierce through the thickest veils of time and intentional silence. It champions the spirit of inquiry, demonstrating that the quest for knowledge, however challenging, is an essential component of our collective journey toward enlightenment and reconciliation. Reflecting further, this dramatic turn of events also reshapes the very legacy of Oakhaven. For generations, the town was, in part, defined by its unsolved mystery, a quiet shadow cast over its public face. The renewed investigation, ignited by the dresses, presents an opportunity for communal healing, not just for the Vance family, but for the entire psyche of the town. The painful process of uncovering truth, even if it brings forth difficult revelations, can ultimately be a cathartic act, allowing Oakhaven to redefine its relationship with its own history. It becomes a story not just of loss, but of resilience, of a community that eventually chose to confront its darkest memory, striving for a justice that, while delayed, is no less vital. Ultimately, the shimmering disco ball, a relic of fleeting joy, and the floating dresses, emblems of enduring sorrow, stand as powerful symbols of time's relentless revelations. They challenge us to look beyond the surface of our everyday lives, to consider the silent histories that lie submerged, waiting for the opportune moment or the persistent gaze of inquiry to finally speak their truth. What other stories, we might ask, lie hidden beneath the quiet veneer of our present, poised to emerge and reshape our understanding of the world around us? The journey of discovery, fueled by curiosity and perseverance, is a continuous one, reminding us that the past is never truly gone, only waiting for its moment to be heard. The discovery of those waterlogged dresses in the Oakhaven High Gym transcends a mere cold case breakthrough. It becomes a profound testament to the enduring human longing for narrative completion, a silent yet potent declaration that some stories simply refuse to remain untold. These garments, once symbols of youthful exuberance and fleeting joy, have transformed into unexpected historians, bearing witness to a past that stubbornly demands acknowledgement. They remind us that even when time attempts to bury truth under layers of dust and forgetfulness, certain echoes resonate with such persistence that they eventually break through, compelling us to listen. The dresses are not just evidence. They are a call to action, a vivid illustration of how the lost can still speak, given the right conditions and the patient ear of a new generation. The inherent human drive for understanding is a powerful force, one that underpins our capacity for healing and our sense of justice. An unresolved mystery leaves an indelible void, not only for the immediate families of the missing, but for the collective memory of an entire community. This absence of definite answers creates a lingering psychological burden, a subtle unease that permeates the very fabric of local identity. The unexpected re-emergence of these artifacts offers the tantalizing prospect of filling that void, providing a trajectory toward comprehension that goes beyond the superficial facts. It's about more than simply identifying what happened. It's about grasping the profound impact of those events, allowing a community to finally integrate a painful chapter into a more complete, albeit tragic, historical account. This relentless quest for answers, even across decades, underscores the fundamental value of relentless inquiry, a trait woven deeply into the tapestry of human experience. It is this innate drive to question, to connect seemingly disparate pieces of information, and to confront uncomfortable truths that pushes boundaries and unearths buried realities. The dresses serve as a potent reminder that intellectual rigor, when coupled with unwavering resolve, possesses the remarkable power to pierce through the thickest veils of time and intentional silence. It champions the spirit of exploration, demonstrating that the pursuit of knowledge, however challenging, is an essential component of our collective journey toward enlightenment and reconciliation. Reflecting further, this dramatic turn of events also reshapes the very legacy of Oakhaven. For generations, the town was, in part, defined by its unsolved mystery, a quiet shadow cast over its public face. The renewed investigation, ignited by the dresses, presents an opportunity for communal healing, not just for the Vance family, but for the entire psyche of the town. The arduous process of uncovering truth, even if it brings forth difficult revelations, can ultimately be a cathartic act, allowing Oakhaven to redefine its relationship with its own history. It becomes a story not just of profound loss, but of resilience, of a community that eventually chose to confront its darkest memory, striving for a justice that, while delayed, is no less vital. Beyond the immediate emotional impact, the scenario compels us to consider the active role of objects as historical conduits. These garments, having absorbed the very essence of their environment for decades, now offer a rare, unfiltered glimpse into a specific moment frozen in time. They challenge our conventional notions of inanimate objects, imbuing them with a silent agency, a capacity to hold and eventually release narratives that might otherwise be lost forever. This perspective encourages us to view the world around us with heightened awareness, recognizing that everyday items can harbor extraordinary tales, patiently waiting for their moment to speak. Ultimately, the shimmering disco ball, a relic of fleeting joy, and the floating dresses, emblems of enduring sorrow, stand as powerful symbols of time's capacity for revelation. They challenge us to look beyond the surface of our everyday lives, to consider the silent histories that lie submerged, waiting for the opportune moment or the persistent gaze of inquiry to finally speak their truth. What other stories we might ponder lie hidden beneath the quiet veneer of our present, poised to emerge and reshape our understanding of the world around us, inviting us to delve deeper into the intricate tapestries of our shared past. The journey of discovery, fueled by curiosity and perseverance, is a continuous one, reminding us that the past is never truly gone, only waiting for its moment to be heard. The dramatic re-emergence of evidence in a case spanning decades inevitably ushers in a distinct set of legal and ethical complexities, far removed from the initial investigative limitations. Consider the legal architecture that has evolved over 35 years. Evidentiary standards have become more rigorous, particularly regarding the chain of custody for artifacts that lay undiscovered. While the dresses themselves offer a tangible link, establishing their precise journey from the prom night to the flooded gym and ensuring their integrity wasn't compromised before discovery becomes a critical, legally fraught endeavor. Defense attorneys, acutely aware of such temporal gaps, will meticulously scrutinize every step, questioning the validity of even the most cutting-edge forensic findings if the provenance isn't airtight. Furthermore, the very nature of human rights and privacy has undergone significant shifts since 1989. Now imagine the intricate ethical tightrope walked by investigators considering advanced techniques like genetic genealogy. This powerful tool, which involves uploading DNA profiles to public databases to find distant relatives, can cast a wide net, drawing in individuals with no direct connection to the crime, merely sharing a genetic lineage. The ethical quandary lies in balancing the compelling societal interest in solving heinous crimes against the privacy rights of unsuspecting citizens whose genetic information, often submitted for recreational purposes, suddenly becomes part of a criminal investigation. This delicate balance demands careful legal oversight and transparent protocols, as the pursuit of justice must never inadvertently infringe upon fundamental liberties. Beyond these legalistic concerns, the reopening of a case steeped in local law often gives rise to a particular kind of societal skepticism. In a small town like Oak Haven, where the Vance twins' disappearance has been a whispered narrative for generations, an elaborate mythology might have taken root. People may have clung to specific theories, assigned blame, or perhaps even unconsciously protected individuals through silence. The sudden introduction of concrete evidence, especially if it contradicts these long-held, comforting narratives, can be met with resistance or even outright disbelief. This phenomenon, where collective memory hardens into something akin to fact, makes it challenging for new evidence to dismantle deeply ingrained community beliefs, fostering an environment ripe for conspiracy theories and a distrust of official findings. Another significant challenge manifests in the realm of resource allocation. A cold case, especially one with such a dramatic reawakening, demands substantial financial and human capital, resources that must be diverted from ongoing active investigations. This creates a contentious debate within law enforcement agencies and the community. How much is too much to spend on a decades-old mystery, however tragic, when current crimes continue to unfold? The public, while initially captivated, might grow impatient if answers aren't swift, leading to a waxing and waning of support that can impact funding and morale. The cost of justice for a historical wrong becomes a very real, very public calculation. Consider also the phenomenon of false confessions or unreliable witness testimony, amplified by the passage of time and the renewed spotlight. Individuals, perhaps driven by guilt, a desire for attention, or even a warped sense of closure, might come forward with fabricated accounts or distorted recollections. The art of discerning truth from fiction, always a challenge, becomes exponentially more difficult when memories are hazy and the psychological landscape of potential witnesses has been shaped by decades of rumination and external influence. Investigators must employ sophisticated psychological interviewing techniques, carefully cross-referencing new statements with the sparse, uncorrupted facts of the original investigation to avoid chasing phantom leads that only serve to further obscure the truth. The dramatic nature of the dress's discovery, while compelling, ironically creates a heightened susceptibility to such misleading narratives, demanding an even greater degree of investigative rigor and critical discernment. The sudden surfacing of those long-lost garments in the submerged gym, while profoundly specific to Oakhaven's tragedy, resonates with a far grander truth about the human condition, the persistent, almost defiant nature of memory, and the relentless quest for understanding. It compels us to recognize that history is rarely static. Rather, it is a living entity, constantly being revised and reinterpreted by new discoveries. This incident serves as a powerful reminder that the past isn't merely a collection of events that happened, but a dynamic force that continues to shape our present and influence our future, often in ways we least expect. We are not just passive observers of history, we are active participants in its ongoing narrative, perpetually unearthing its buried facets. This profound revelation urges us to consider the often overlooked agency of artifacts themselves. These dresses, once mere fabric and thread, transcended their original purpose to become silent chroniclers, patiently holding their secrets until the opportune moment. They exemplify how seemingly inanimate objects can serve as powerful conduits of forgotten narratives, preserving fragments of human experience against the relentless tide of decay and oblivion. It's a testament to the idea that objects, imbued with the context of their creation and the circumstances of their abandonment, possess an inherent capacity to speak across generations, providing tangible links to lives lived and stories untold. Their very existence challenges us to view the mundane with a heightened sense of curiosity, recognizing that every discarded item, every forgotten space, might harbor a poignant, unwritten history. Furthermore, the saga of Emily and Sarah Vance, now dramatically reopened, underscores the fundamental human need for narrative closure. A story left incomplete, a question left unanswered, creates an enduring cognitive dissonance, a void that resists true peace. For the affected families and indeed for the entire community, the absence of a definitive end to the twins' story would have lingered like an open wound, festering beneath the surface of daily life. The prospect of finally understanding, even if the truth is painful, offers a unique opportunity for catharsis, a release from the agonizing grip of ambiguity. It is a testament to our collective psychological architecture, which yearns for coherence, for the neat tying of loose ends, however belatedly. This resurgence also highlights the extraordinary resilience of hope. For decades, the families of the missing twins, and perhaps a small core within the town, must have held onto a slender thread of possibility, even as the world around them moved on. The dresses transform that fragile hope into a tangible, albeit somber, reality. It's a powerful affirmation that perseverance, no matter how long the wait, can sometimes yield the most unexpected and profound results. This enduring spirit, which refuses to let go of the search for truth, is a defining characteristic of human endeavor, reminding us that the pursuit of justice is not bound by the limitations of a calendar or the fading of initial fervor. Ultimately, The Oakhaven mystery, now jolted back to life, serves as a compelling invitation to cultivate a deeper sense of wonder about the world around us. It encourages us to look beyond the obvious, to question the accepted, and to acknowledge that beneath the veneer of the ordinary, extraordinary stories lie dormant, waiting for their moment to be unveiled. What other forgotten spaces, what other silent objects hold the keys to unseen histories? The lingering question from Oakhaven's Jim is not merely about what happened to two teenagers. It's a universal prompt to embrace the power of inquiry, to trust the subtle whispers of the past, and to remain open to the astonishing ways in which truth can, against all odds, find its way back into the light. It's a call to embrace the ongoing journey of discovery, recognizing that every solved mystery, every piece of knowledge unearthed, enriches the vast, intricate tapestry of human understanding. Reflecting on this journey through the shadowed corridors of Oakhaven's past, we perceive a profound tapestry woven from threads of time, material resilience, and the intricate workings of the human psyche. What initially appears as a singular, shocking discovery quickly unfurls into a complex interplay of forces that defy simple categorization. The very existence of those preserved garments, suspended in their watery stillness, speaks volumes about the unexpected alliance between environmental conditions and the inherent properties of matter, demonstrating how the relentless march of decay can sometimes be arrested, creating unwitting archives of moments long gone. This material persistence, however, is merely one facet of a larger truth that has been quietly unfolding. Concurrently, we witness the equally powerful, albeit less tangible, persistence of memory within a collective consciousness. A community, much like an individual, carries the weight of unresolved narratives, allowing them to subtly shape its identity and social fabric over generations. The sudden re-entry of concrete, tangible links to a long-dormant tragedy doesn't just reopen a file. It reawakens a sleeping giant of communal recollection, forcing a re-evaluation of established truths and comfortable silences. This dynamic collision between the physical evidence that time has preserved and the psychological imprints it has left behind creates a fertile ground for both revelation and renewed introspection. Drawing these intricate strands together, we discern how the advancements of modern inquiry now stand ready to bridge the chasm of decades, offering tools unimaginable to those who first grappled with the mystery. This technological leap provides a fresh lens through which to examine a past previously constrained by the investigative limitations of its era, promising an unprecedented clarity. Yet this path is far from straightforward. It's a journey fraught with the inherent fragility of human recollection, the ethical complexities of novel techniques, and the subtle yet powerful sway of ingrained biases and historical narratives that have calcified over time. The very act of seeking resolution after so long is a delicate operation, requiring not just scientific prowess, but also profound empathy and an acute awareness of the ripple effects of every unearthed detail. Indeed, the cumulative effect of these interwoven elements paints a vivid picture of a town now compelled to confront its own historical ledger. The submerged gymnasium, once a stage for youthful dreams, has become a crucible for truth, where the echoes of a distant celebration mingle with the chilling whispers of a long-held secret. This is not just a story of cold facts and forensic breakthroughs. It is a narrative of a community's enduring quest for understanding, a testament to the idea that some questions refuse to fade, no matter how many seasons pass. As we pivot towards the final reflections, we are left to ponder the profound implications of what happens when the past, with all its complexities and unresolved pain, finally demands its due, transforming a local legend into an urgent, contemporary imperative. The journey has revealed that the pursuit of truth, though arduous and often circuitous, ultimately serves as a powerful catalyst for both individual and collective reckoning, pushing us to continuously re-examine the stories we tell ourselves and the silent burdens we carry. The shimmering disco ball of Oakhaven High, once a beacon of fleeting joy, now hangs as a silent sentinel, witnessing a profound truth, that some stories, no matter how deeply buried by time or tragedy, possess an extraordinary resilience, waiting for the precise convergence of circumstances to re-emerge. The discovery of those two prom dresses, suspended in their watery embrace, isn't merely the reopening of a cold case. It is a startling affirmation of the past's persistent whisper, a vivid demonstration that memory, both material and communal, can defy decades of silence. This specific event, born of a small town's sorrow, transforms into a universal parable about the enduring power of what is lost and the relentless human drive to reclaim it. What we've observed in Oakhaven is a delicate dance between decay and preservation, a testament to how specific environmental conditions can transform a fragile memento into an enduring artifact. The flooded gym, an unwitting time capsule, provided an anoxic sanctuary, a still point in a turning world where the relentless march of decomposition was dramatically slowed. This remarkable survival, whether due to synthetic fibers or a fortunate absence of biological agents, underscores a crucial insight, that the world around us is teeming with silent witnesses, with objects holding latent narratives, patiently awaiting their moment to speak. It challenges our perception of inanimate things, imbuing them with an unexpected agency, a capacity to bridge vast temporal gaps and force us to confront histories we thought were irrevocably lost. Beyond the scientific marvel, Oakhaven's reawakening forces us to confront the profound psychological and social impact of unresolved narratives. For 35 years, the town carried the weight of an incomplete story, a collective wound that subtly shaped its identity. The dresses, therefore, are not just evidence. They are a catalyst for a long-overdue reckoning, compelling a community to revisit its past, challenge its comfortable silences, and perhaps finally begin the arduous process of healing. This journey towards closure, however complex and fraught with the fragility of human memory and the ethical intricacies of modern investigation, speaks to a fundamental human yearning for understanding, a deep-seated need to make sense of the senseless, to bring light to the darkest corners of our shared experience. This extraordinary event also serves as a powerful testament to the unwavering spirit of inquiry, the relentless human curiosity that refuses to let go of unanswered questions. It reminds us that justice, though sometimes delayed for decades, can still be pursued with renewed vigor, armed with the technological advancements and refined methodologies that bridge the chasm of time. Yet it also cautions us against the illusion of instant answers, highlighting the nuanced challenges of reinterpreting old data, navigating the shifting sands of human recollection, and discerning truth amidst layers of speculation and deeply entrenched biases. The true practice begins now, not just in the forensic labs, but in the careful, empathetic reconstruction of a lost moment, in the delicate balance of seeking truth without causing further harm, and in the collective courage to confront what has long been hidden. Ultimately, the Oakhaven mystery, jolted back to life by those submerged dresses, stands as an enduring symbol of hope for all unresolved stories. It whispers a powerful message that the past, however distant or obscured, always leaves its traces. It encourages us to cultivate a deeper sense of awareness, to look beyond the obvious, and to recognize that every forgotten corner, every silent object, might hold the key to an untold history. The journey of discovery is a continuous one, fueled by curiosity and perseverance, reminding us that the pursuit of truth is not merely an academic exercise, but a vital act of remembrance, a reaffirmation of our shared humanity, and a constant call to listen to the silent testimonies that surround us, waiting patiently for their voices to be heard. The echoes of 1989 resonate not just in Oakhaven, but in every place where a question lingers, a truth hides, or a memory yearns for its rightful place in the narrative of time.